Right, but just put it down on paper. Let's just look at look at real hard facts. Seth Rich was a Bernie Sanders supporter. Seth Rich was a patriot. Seth Rich, according to Julian Assange and WikiLeaks, which have not been proven to be liars,
never had to retract anything they printed.
They've never had to do that. He's saying that he leaked stuff to him. There are consequences leaking stuff to WikiLeaks. Seth Rich was murdered at 4 o'clock in the morning, shot in the back. They said it was a botched robbery, but no one took anything from him, and there's never been anyone that's charged with it, and there's no suspects. I don't know. I don't know what happened to him, but that looks very suspicious.
Well, you're not even allowed to ask questions because I covered that story one day. I covered it one day because that guy Wheeler came out and he was saying he had all this, he saw the computer and all this stuff. So I covered that. Right, and you're a piece of shit. And you're a conspiracy theorist. In that video I did, I literally said, I don't know if this is true. We're waiting for evidence. Unlike the mainstream news media with their Russia bullshit, we're going to wait for evidence. Right. I literally said that inside that. And then the next day I did another video which debunked that guy Wheeler who was pushing that story because he turned out he was full of shit. So what was the response, though? People still to this day fucking smear me with that. They go, oh, you pushed it. I go, I would do a news show. I covered a news show. By the way, why aren't you allowed to ask questions about an open murder investigation? Well, not only that, this is a real, look, this is a guy who is a real Bernie Sanders supporter, open Bernie Sanders supporter who worked for the DNC. The DNC absolutely rigged the primary against Bernie Sanders. He was aware of this. He was there while this was all going down. So was Donna Brazile. Everyone was aware of it. The guy got fucking murdered after he leaked information to WikiLeaks. If you don't think that's a little weird, what are you looking at? What delusional rose-colored glasses are you looking at your party from? You think you're in some Julia Roberts movie from 1990? This is real shit. Some guy got killed. He was 24 years old. He was a young guy who was very optimistic and had this view of the world where I mean, the guy fucking wore American flag pants and shirt. There's a famous picture of him with a beer on. I mean, he's a patriot in a lot of ways. He wanted to be involved in the political process. He was very idealistic. He was probably shattered by finding out that the party that he was working for was corrupting the democratic process. And because I've said this before, you know, I've been accused of helping Donald Trump win by really wacky people online. Like, by pointing out all the flaws of Hillary Clinton. Like, look, man, you can't ignore that shit because you want one side to win. I've talked about all of his flaws, too. There's a lot of flawed human beings that run for president, pretty much all of them. I mean, it's very rare you have someone who's not flawed. Right. We're extremely flawed. We're all flawed, but extremely flawed who wants to be the fucking king of the world. It's very rare. I'm not that well read when it comes to politics. I have my opinions on things, but when it comes to things that are rock solid and clear, like that Seth Rich was murdered and people want to ignore it, I'm like, what the fuck do you think happened? There has to be some sort of a disconnect here. When a person is giving information to WikiLeaks that exposes corruption inside the very organization that's responsible for the fucking Democratic Party, and he gets murdered, and you're like, oh, the conspiracy theories. No, he got murdered. There's no conspiracy. It was a botched robbery. Says who? Says who? Where's his? How come his wallet was there? How come his watch was there? How come they didn't take his phone? What the fuck are you talking about that I'm a conspiracy theorist when I just tell you the facts? So and this WikiLeaks thing with Julian Assange is the craziest shit ever when he said there's consequences to sharing information with us. And everybody's like, he works for Russia now. He works for Russia. So he was the darling of the left when Obama was in office. So isn't that amazing? So Julian Assange, he's just a great news guy who's tough as nails. Who dances creepy and might have fucked some girl while she was asleep. Whatever. He can't leave. He's stuck in the Ecuador embassy forever. By the way, that case was so fucked. So fucked. So fucked. He's been so fucked, and it's because the CIA wants him so bad, and they control everybody. And now they have influence over Ecuador, and they're trying to fuck. They're trying to get a Halliburton guy to be their new. Anyway, they might just blow up that place. The gas leak. No doubt. Right? I wouldn't be surprised if shit like that happened. If more stuff comes out, like the Seth Rich stuff, the amount of people, and this is where I leak any conspiracy theories. The amount of people connected to Hillary Clinton organization, to the Clinton Foundation, to Bill Clinton, the amount of people that have been iced is stunning. But some of them are bullshit and coincidental, and you know people, and they're in a weird job, and people get killed. There's a lot of people that have been killed. A lot. But don't you think, what I love when they talk about the Uranium One story like it's debunked,
Right.
Bill Clinton got $500,000 put directly in his pocket from a Kremlin bank. Directly, and then $142 million flowed into the Clinton Foundation, and it was a bunch of motherfuckers surrounded a nuclear deal because they wanted to do charity.
So what's the argument that it was debunked?
They say, oh no, this is, she was only one of 9 things that had to sign off on. There was all these other agencies that had to sign off on it, and this and that. It's all bullshit. That was all influence. Someone gave your Clinton Foundation $142 million. That's to buy influence, and $500,000 in the Bill Clinton's pocket directly. It's because they like how he talks pretty English in Russia. Are you fucking kidding me? So it's all bullshit. So people go, oh, it's debunked. It's not debunked. It's not fucking. You tell me why they gave $142 million anonymously to a fucking Clinton Foundation. That is such bullshit. They're so corrupt. If you believe Trump is corrupt by doing deals with oligarchs, this is Dylan Ratigan talking. You also have to believe that Hillary Clinton did arms deals around the country while personally enriching herself, and Barack Obama is paid off by the Wall Street and the health insurance companies and big pharma, so we don't have a functioning money sector or a healthcare sector. It's hard to believe one and not believe the other two. That's what Dylan Ratigan says, and I believe that fucking guy. He's an award-winning journalist, and he said, if you believe Trump is corrupt in this, and he goes, and it's easy to believe, it's all no fucking problem, but you also have to believe this. You have to believe Hillary Clinton did arms deals all around the world, enriching herself to the tunes of millions of dollars. The same thing with Barack Obama. You can't believe one and not the other. So my whole point is, when people try to pretend that Trump is the problem, they're missing the problem. The problem is the neoliberal system that gave us Trump, that renders 63% of the population without enough funds to handle a $1,000 emergency in the richest country in the world. That's the problem, Joe, and that's what people are. If you think it's Trump, Trump is a symptom of a bigger problem. I don't even think that guy wants to be president.
He doesn't. He does. I think he fucked up.
And
I think he was running to build up his brand,
yes.
and like, shit,
it's the dog who caught the car.
I'm biting tires now.
And people
bumpers taste like shit.
And these people hate him so much they want to impeach him. Right.
One of my favorite parts of the election process was when he was saying, "I gave you money. I gave you money. I gave you money."
So again,
it's one of my favorite parts.
I would say stuff. I was like, God, who would have thought it would be Trump to fucking out these people?
I know,
because he did.
You know, when Obama was mocking him at that press junket thing. What is that thing?
Yeah, it was at the War Correspondents' Dinner.
Yeah, the Correspondents' Dinner. When he was mocking him, he said, "One thing that I am that you'll never be, President of the United States." And you see Trump sitting there going, "Oh yeah, motherfucker," and like that very well could have been like. He was talking about running for president in the 80s, right? But he never did.
Never did.
Right? Thought about it in the 2004 election, never did. But that fucking straw, snap.
And he did it.
And we're on.
He did it.
And now he's in.